find that I don't use wipes, and the only reason why I don't is because I don't feel the need. Just because I don't doesn't mean you're doing wrong. I don't smoke, but I swear, and I occasionally drink. Because I do doesn't mean it's right.
So first of all, checks on.
Absolutely.
Checks on the air, the lens, suction, up down wheel, right left, freeze, and then stiffness.
Excellent. You've done this before.
3 times.
3. He's a good man. So my friend, what I'd like you to do is tell me what you're exactly doing, okay?
I'm intubating now.
Yeah. So which way is the lumen?
Lumen is downward.
Okay. So if you just freeze where you are, just freeze absolutely where you are. Freeze. Stop.
Yeah.
Freeze means you just freeze.
Okay. Freeze means stop. All right. You keep doing what you're doing.
Freeze means you just stop. So that he can explain to you what you are not doing correctly.
Okay. Let's start again. Take it out. Off you go again. You won't do it this time, I bet you. Lovely.
The mannequin is easy to reach, we'll make it different. This mannequin can actually, we can create loops. So we'll be doing that as you,
Now if you just freeze now,
once you understand.
what have you done different this time to what you didn't do last time?
Actually, I'm not talking.
You're not. Well, one, you're not telling me what you're doing. 2, you're manoeuvring this little wheel like it's going out of fashion. But second, you had so much torque outside here in the rectum that you would, if you actually think, and we'll start again because there's no issue, right? If you actually think about the scope was going in and it was going in and it was going in, and this is what was happening to the scope inside and outside, and that's what you were doing. Okay? Try to avoid using the little wheel. Just neutralise the scope and introduce nice and steady. Hold the hand back here and just relax the scope in the right hand. Okay? I'll just adjust that so it's going straight for you because I'm looking at how your hand is. Excellent. Now, what direction torque are you going to put on?
Counterclockwise.
Okay, so excellent. So where's the lumen? Good man. Now, what torque have you put on?
Counterclockwise.
Excellent. So what are you doing now?
I'm talking and then advancing.
Okay, excellent. What else are you doing now?
Up.
Up.
Advancing.
How are you making it go up?
Down.
How are you making it go down?
Moving the wheel forward.
Right, excellent. It's just that there's a lot of people who know what you're doing, and then there's people with varying levels and concept of what the scope does. So if we get you to repeat what it is that you're doing, then one, enables someone like myself to understand what you're doing and what the concept, but also other people, when they see, well, he's making the scope go up, how's he doing that? He's making the scope go down, how's he doing that? So it's just easier for them to understand. Is that okay? Excellent.
I'm advancing the scope.
Okay.
Inflating the lumen.
Excellent. Now what torque are you putting in?
Counterclockwise.
Good.
Clockwise. And
Okay, stop. So, you said counterclockwise and you actually went clockwise. Okay.
clockwise.
Okay.
Advance and then up, down.
Okay.
Advancing.
If you just freeze, how much grip have you got on the scope? How tight are you holding the scope?
Quite tight.
Okay. Let the scope come here. Point the scope here. How tight have you got it now? What's this? Just bring it to your chest. There you go. How does it feel now?
Quite relaxed.
What's this?
If you broke it to progress, and so should we allow it to fall into neutral position or need to?
Right, what I say to people, if you just pause there for a second, good question, sorry my friend, sorry. I say to people, what's outside represents what's inside. If you've got a strange configuration out here, and you've got 50 centimetres of scope in here, odds on are you've got a strange configuration going on in here. Because you can't have something out there that ain't affecting something in here. So what's been pointed out is, should we be aiming to have the scope in a neutral position as often as possible? And I would agree that that's what I would want. Myself as a scopist, that's what I would want. If you've got that, then the scope will go forward and feel less cumbersome, less restrictive, and you can use it to actually make your advances. Okay? Sorry. Just freeze where you are. You're bringing the scope right across. Can you see how you've got this here? See how that down there? Now just let the scope relax in this hand. Just let it relax in the hand, like so. Watch. There's no need to have had the scope in such a. It's going. He's told me, oh my shoulder, oh my leg. Right. I'm 50. I've got another. Well, I'm retiring in 4 years, and then I'm just going into teaching full time. So just relax. Let the scope relax. How does that feel now?
Relaxed.
Relaxed. Chill.
Can we use this movement more
Okay.
than the dog steering?
What you're doing there is this. Okay? That's nothing. It's this. It's moving the. Keep your finger forward. It's that movement that you're using. The only reason for moving this closer to the body is watch that finger. That does nothing. That's what you were saying. Watch the finger. It's pointing at the hand. It's coming across the chest. See the effect on the screen? Watch the finger. It's pointing to the floor. See the effect on the screen? It's the directions of the buttons, not the fact that you're doing this. Okay? There's a lot of people who see us doing it and they don't realise what we're actually doing is orientating the hilt. It's orientating the button there. You're doing it there again. Just chill, let's go. And just let it come here. Just little flick of the wrist. Little flick of the wrist. Yeah? It's a bit like you've seen someone's upset you and you're driving and you go,
Yes, I was asking that if we use these sort of movements on the wrist more, then we can depend less on dog.
no, nah. That's a good point. All this is just to help you and aid you with the Karachi talk. Now he's got the scope in the position. If you remember, he had a tight grip on the scope. Now because he's allowing this to do its work and just support this hand, he can easily re-grip the scope in any angle he wants. He can put more torque on if he wants, take torque off if he wants, but this just supports it, takes out this tension from here to here. A lot of the time when you feel resistance in the scope, it's not primarily the resistance from the patient, it's from here to here.
I understand the question correctly. ERCP and shorter scope is different. This is transmitting exactly what you're doing here. This is a long scope there. You can't transmit the whole thing like that. So you're just basically straightening and making it easy for you to rotate with your hands. Whereas in ERCP, as we were teaching you, you actually do this, you really don't need to do that. Same with all short scope, EUS, whatever. You don't really need to rotate here. You just need to rotate this one and you rotate.
With ERCP, forget about your colonoscopy skill. You should try to do torque rotation ERCP. You are a disaster.
You have to, this is a totally different system. The small scopes are totally different.
So what are we going to do now?
Steering forward.
So tell us again.
Advanced
Advancing.
forward.
What torque are you putting in now? What angle?
Clockwise.
Clockwise. And what do you think is going to help you with that? Just relax. How does that feel? Less tense?
Bit tense.
Okay, let's just move that there. How does that feel now? Less tense?
Relaxed.
Okay. more torque on. How does it feel now?
Relax.
Let go. Let go. Just let go of the scope a second. Now just let it sit there. You sit, relax, relax. Okay? Just let the scope relax. That's good. Just there. Now it actually helps you with your scope, you see. Because that, now you can put your torque on more. How does that feel now? More resistance, less resistance than before?
Less resistance.
Okay. So all it is an aid. Just manoeuvring that slowly is an aid. There'll come a time when we're doing the live cases that will say stop doing that because you get caught up that I need to be doing this. Really all I'm doing here is trying to take out the tension between those two areas. Okay? So that you get this right. What you're doing from here to here is good. That's good work. But what you've got to do is just slow your movements down. You know what you want to do, but you just need to support the scope a little bit more in what you're doing between this hand and that hand. Okay? That's fine. Excellent. How does that feel?
Relax one. Feeling resistance.
You're feeling resistance?
Yeah.
Okay, so is it hurting the patient?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hurting the patient?
I think this is where the
Okay, so I actually,
You want to apply
now,
the gel.
if you actually just stare down at the model, can you see that? See there? You're actually coming against that, and what you're actually doing is rubbing against the mannequin. So, no, relax. Now tries. How's that feel?
Relax one.
Okay, so what does that tell you?
If the scope is not straight, if the scope is not straight, you will feel resistance at the lower end.
Scope is not straight. If you remember when we were talking about the snooker cue and the direction in relation to the anus, if you remember our friend here when he held the scope down here, when we were coming in at the wrong angle, you were applying pressure. Now this is a mannequin, it's a hard plate. How that tells you it's finding it difficult is resistance between this area and that. So the first thing you need to do, I've got resistance. The first thing you did, which was the right thing to do, was what?
Check the position. Check the
There was something before that. What did we do before that? Stop. So you stopped. You chose to stop. So how was it going? He says, I've got some resistance. It's very stiff. So you automatically stopped. Then you looked down. Then you thought about something. But then when we all look down in there, we can see what it was in relation to that. So first of all, it's recheck the simple things. So the scope wants to go, finding it difficult to go forward. Have I got enough gel on the scope? Have I got the scope going in the right direction? These type of things. Rule the simple things out before you start thinking, I must have a loop, I must have this, this is what's happening, I must be in a diverticular segment, this person must have some kind of strain, alpha, reverse alpha, God knows what. Before we start going down the parameters of those, rule out the simple things. Okay? And which is what you did. Okay? So, what are we going to do now?
Advancing.
Okay. Do you prefer advancing than pushing?
I'm advancing.
Now, what are the things that a patient, if they're arousable, how does the patient know that things are going well? What's the first thing the patient does to actually know that things are going well?
You can be comfortable.
Well, the patient will do something when they're actually thinking, is everything going all right? One wants to see the procedure, but what does the patient do?
He will communicate with you. Is everything
And what
okay?
did he do? If you were a patient and you wanted to communicate with him, before you said anything to him, what are you going to do to him? That's speaking. What's the
Tense the muscle.
No, you're going to look at it. And the reason why I do that, there's been a couple of occasions, it's something we all need to be aware of. I think to myself, I can feel my muscles in my face doing X, Y, and Z. So I can feel it. So I deliberately try to smile. I try to avoid going, and that's what we all, when we learn, sorry about that. Sorry, Sal.
No.
When we're all doing it. And then the first thing is when the patient who's our sedated turns around and we're making faces. You know, oh my word, what's going on here? So, our communication is what we look like. So if a patient wants to communicate, they'll look at you. So it's just that a couple of times you've made funny faces and I found. So now you've got a nice look on your face. You're smiling. You're enjoying yourself. How does that feel?
I'm very good.
How does your shoulders feel now you're smiling? More relaxed. So where do you think we are?
Transverse colon.
Transverse colon.
Yeah.
What could you do to bring the transverse colon closer to us?
Suction.
Okay. What must we ensure before we do it?
What must we make sure before we start?
Scope should be in the lumen.
Center of the lumen.
Scope should be in the center of the lumen.
And why do you want to do that?
So that it could
No, not advanced.
so that cecum should come onto the scope.
So you, the same thing that he's saying. No, what will happen if you don't have it in the center?
Lumen will suck in.
So the effect that you want will not occur. Suction polyp is one thing, but what you want to do is bring the scope, bring the lumen sort of, you want to go in further, right? So when you're trying to go in, you want the colon to come close to you. If you suck on the mucosa, you bring that close to you, not the colon.
So put the lumen central.
Yeah.
How are you going to get? And now what are you going to do? Suck. Excellent. Draw the scope back a fraction. A bit more. Keep the lumen central. Why have we drawn this? Don't suck anymore. Now what are you going to do? Don't suck anymore. Okay, where do you think we are now? Where do you think we're close? So you've drawn back. That's wonderful.
Yeah. But I'm feeling resistance, that's why.
Okay. Where do you think you are?
Almost there.
Sorry?
Transverse colon, I think.
Transverse colon. Okay. How does that make you feel?
Feeling good.
All right. How much pushing did you do?
Quite minimal.
Oh, so you pushed. I thought you advanced.
That's a good one.
How did that feel? When you relaxed, how did that feel? It is very hard to relax when we're doing these things, but it's nice to try and do it. So what we need to do is look at how to get ourselves to relax. And sometimes we creep over the patients. We allow our shoulders to come through. We adopt a position that is actually restrictive and stops us using the scope. So sometimes it's wise just to pause. Let's just get ourselves shoulders back, hold the scope again, and then go forward again. It takes a couple of seconds. That's all it does. But if you're comfortable and the scope feels safe to progress with, what do you think that will do for the patient? If you're comfortable, the scope feels comfortable to progress with, how do you think that will make the patient feel?
It can be comfortable.
If you, and the interesting thing is, if you suddenly grab that scope, hold it as tight as you can, what it does, it transfers into the patient, and it becomes a whole lot becomes transferable, and you can see it all of a sudden. This force, and it's, this is going in, and nothing's going to stop me. What you've got to do is just for a second, sometimes just pause and take a breath. Make yourself comfortable. If you're comfortable, it only takes a little while, then it's safe to progress. Yeah? Happy?
Yeah.
If you take it out, my friend, whoever's next, who's next? What we'll do is that this is set on one of the base configurations. We'll change it tomorrow, as Saad was saying, and there'll be loops and all sorts of things that we can put into it. Today it's just really trying to get your hand-eye, have a look at you, see how you're actually holding the scopes. So that's what it's about. Okay?
stethoscope. That's
Wonderful. So you've seen what we're about. What we're about is trying to get you to tell us what you're doing, rather than me telling you what to do. So, first of all, how many have you done?
sorry, 20 or
A few?
yeah.
He's lying.
Yeah. A bit.
I can tell. His top of his ear's gone red.
Just seeing you that makes me. Okay.
It's okay, I want you to be really harsh with it.
That's with him.
Yeah.